This episode of the Seventh Valkyrie Podcast is brought to you entirely by fan support. To help keep the series ad-free, get early access and bonus features, browse gear and apparel, join the community, or watch the series come to life in living color, you can check out the links in the description. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Seventh Valkyrie Podcast. I'm your host, Colin Sharp, and I'm coming to you a little different day than usual. The title of this podcast is called "The Physics of Daring," which is a reference to a Brené Brown quote. And part of the reason that I'm coming to you guys on a Tuesday is because I missed the Friday release date. Things have been a little busy with work, and I just couldn't get back into the studio in time. And it's funny, whenever I have anything in the Seventh Valkyrie that doesn't go as planned, I always feel like just super disappointed, because I feel like, man, not only did I set my goals, did I let myself down, but I feel like I let an entire fan base down, which, it's not like you guys are screaming at me on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, or like yelling at me on Reddit. You guys have been nothing but supportive, but in my head I'm always like, but they're so disappointed. Anyway, that always throws me for a loop, and it reminded me, and it was why I wanted to bring up today this quote that I remember from Brené Brown, and I don't have the exact quote in front of me. I could find it, maybe I will, but it's talking about the physics of daring, and she's got it in her what's it called? This one came from Rising Strong, because she talks about if you the physics of vulnerability, like if you try hard enough and you dare hard enough often enough, you will fail. Like, that is simply the physics of it. And so when you fail, you have to be ready to rise strong, and to continue moving, and to pick yourself up, and to deal with whatever led to that failure. And sometimes it's out of your control. But I highly recommend taking a moment to, I talk about Brené's stuff all the time. Obviously, it's been highly influential on me. But I bring this all up because it's been a period of daring for me. I'm now at a phase where I'm doing more than I've ever done, and I'm still making more progress than I have in a while on Seventh Valkyrie. And so it's weird, because I know that I'm making more progress than ever before, and I'm being super productive, but it feels like, it's like each of these areas, there's always room to mess up and to make mistakes. And, with this client, there's a chance for that. And with this client, there's a chance for that. And with Seventh Valkyrie, there's a chance that you run out of creative juice and you don't want to write garbage. And I do take I do expect a certain standard of myself when I step in the booth to write Seventh Valkyrie. Like, I don't want to half-ass this. It's my life's work so far. And so it's interesting, just like the physics of daring, such that if you try hard, if you truly try hard, you will fall. And it's funny, because for the past 2.5 years, basically since the pandemic, I had worked really hard to engineer all of the vulnerabilities and all of the uncertainty out of my life. And then in this past 9 months or so, it's just been, part of that has been building a new relationship. Part of that has been starting a new role at work. Part of that has been a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And so it's interesting. It's like when something calls you again to finally start lifting your level and to start dealing at that higher level, and and to dare, it's all of a sudden you're exposing yourself to all these new failures that weren't possible, because you in your comfort zone, you can avoid all those things. But and this is where you should go read Brené's book, Daring Greatly. She basically posits that it will expose you to failure and to mistakes and to stumbling and falling, but a life without daring, it's like, is not one that any of us really want to live. So anyway, that was just kind of my thoughts. I always like to open kind of my heart up to you guys when I'm talking about this process. I do feel a sense of companionship and pride and duty to continue just to hold up what I say I'm going to say. And if I got a podcast coming out on Friday every week, then put it out on Friday every week. And so this one's coming out on Tuesday. But I'll have another one coming up. I'm going to literally be recording it back to back today. So I'll keep you guys posted on a much more exciting topic back then. Or, I think this is a fun topic. And I might come back and I might revisit this at some point. But right now I've got a shuttle coming in 20 minutes. And so, we deal with the lives that we have. So much love to all of you guys. And I hope that you enjoy this little bonus episode for this week because we missed one last week. So enjoy, and have a great, great rest of the week. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Seventh Valkyrie Podcast, which is brought to you entirely by fan support. To help keep the series ad-free, get early access and bonus features, browse gear and apparel, join the community, or watch the series come to life in living color, you can check out the links in the description.